Hello and welcome to another episode of the 3 on 3 Hoops Pod, the voice of 3 on 3 basketball, where we break down why 3 on 3 basketball is the secret sauce to player development. As always, my name is Kevin Roberts, and I'm joined by my guy, Coach Jay on the West Coast. What's going on, Coach?
Man, it's been a long, busy week, but as always, I show up ready to perform, just like I expect my players to do.
Mm. Did you guys have a game?
What do we have? No, man, I haven't had games. High school is over.
Okay.
Um, we've just been doing 3-on-3 clinics, and then we getting ready to start the league in about a month. So that's where we are. And then, of course, after the 3-on-3 league, we're gonna dive head first into club. So you'll see real Coach J coming back real soon.
Yeah. So today's episode is kind of interesting because we've had two good interviews the last few weeks, and they were based on 3x3 basketball, and I thought they were really great for the show. We had Martin Dyan, who's the founder of Rise 3x3 from the
Yep.
UK, our first international show. Uh, and we had after that, our next interview was Coach Ras Vanderloo, a
Great
longtime
interview.
head.
Great interview.
Yeah, yeah, that was probably my favorite. I'm not gonna lie, it's probably my favorite interview that we've had so far.
Fair
And
enough. It was my favorite. No offense to all the other guests out there. You guys are all great. I love
oh,
you
all of them
all.
were great. Yeah.
But just the amount of knowledge and the jewels that Coach Roz dropped
Mhm.
left me
And the
speechless.
energy, coach, the energy that he had at I
Yeah,
don't know what time we did it. We had a late interview and he came in with so much energy. So that was great. But
yep,
yeah, longtime head coach, and he's also working for USA Basketball, one of the coaches for USA Basketball. So two great guests that we've had talk about 3x3 basketball, which is my favorite thing to talk about. And two very different people, two very different basketball backgrounds. But what stood out to me from both of those conversations is that both kept pointing to the same thing, and that's 3x3 basketball. There's a movement going on right
yep,
now, right? And there's and 3x3 basketball matters, and it's getting bigger here in the states. So
yep.
and it's a worldwide sport, and that sport is getting big. So wanted to talk about we'll talk about Martin Dyan's interview first, since we had him on a few weeks ago, and he was the founder of Rise 3x3, which is based out in the UK. And coach, you wanna anything that stood out to you in that interview?
I mean, just his journey.
Mhm.
It was heartfelt. I remember he said one of the reasons why he started his program was after he lost his friend. And
Yeah.
a lot of us and a lot of people in general, we always look for what you call your why you do something. So that's a really good why, to jump in, head first into something like that. And then, I'm just amazed at the growth of his program in just such a short time. It shows that you know when you have something that's big, something that's scalable, something that's
Mhm.
growing, and you have a mission and you have a passion, you can start from scratch and build something impactful.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, that's exactly what he's doing out there in the UK with Rise 3x3. And coach, one of the things that really stood out to me from that conversation was with Martin was the way he talked about 3x3 as its own game.
Yeah,
And not just something that you do in practice, and it's not just something that you play in the summer. He talked about how he saw it as more than a summer game, which is usually when 3x3 is played because it's an outdoor sport,
yep,
for the most part internationally. And because it's really big internationally. If you look at some YouTube videos, the crowds that 3x3 brings out is crazy.
and
And
those crowds
they
are
have,
lit in the stands. They got their
yeah.
flags waving and everything.
So they have it going. I can't remember which part of the world tour it is. I want to say it's in Mongolia where they have it in a mall. I could be wrong. They have it
Yeah,
in one country. They have it in a mall, and it's one of the Asian countries, and it's crazy. And to have this event in a mall and everybody's kind of hanging over the rail and just watching. They go shop at Macy's or whatever mall they have there
watch,
nationally, and just go
watching
watch some
basketball
3x3. Yeah.
as they walk through the mall.
and it's crazy. And so we talked about that. I remember he also said something about um uh in the conversation that it really stuck to me. Like he asked players to describe 3x3, and he said two words always come up, and he talked about how players said that it's about creativity
Yeah.
and also being exposed.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of players get exposed
Yeah.
in 3x3, and so that's a really interesting way to describe the game because in 3x3, you don't have a coach calling every play. You have to read the game yourself as a player, and solve your own problems during the game because in 3x3 you don't have that coach on the sideline. They're usually you know in the stands or they're always in the stands, just like kind of like a tennis coach.
Yeah.
um, and so you had to, as a player, they had to figure out their own things out together. And I thought that perspective from Martin was really interesting because he's looking at this from a global perspective,
Yeah.
and he's looking at how 3x3 can actually grow the game of basketball itself. Because you could tell Martin's love for the game,
He's very
and
passionate,
he has
knowledgeable.
the well, I don't know about knowledgeable because he is an Orlando Magic fan.
Oh man. Hey Martin, I
Sorry,
just
Martin.
it's all Kev. I didn't say anything. Orlando,
but
I didn't say anything. That's all
You
that
could
man right there.
tell you can just listen if you listen to the interview, and you can just see the passion he has for the game of basketball. Like, he loved, and like you said, like you mentioned, he created a tournament for his friend that
Yeah.
passed away, and the reason why he chose 3-on-3 was just because he didn't think he can get enough guys for 5-on-5. And so that's how it all started, which is
Yeah.
crazy. And then it was a great event. And then someone asked him, when's the next one? And so that's when he knew he had to do something with that, and built his own program up. And I told him how it inspired me.
Yeah.
And they have their own podcast, the 3x3 basketball podcast, and he's doing big things out in the UK. So
Big,
yeah,
big
so
thing.
if
They
you
just
haven't
did the
checked out
Nike
that
event,
interview.
the John Morant
Oh,
Nike
the
event.
John Morant. Yep.
Yeah,
He talked about that
they
also,
did
and I
that.
thought that was awesome.
Yeah, and then they just did another big clinic slash workshop a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I really like the portion. I don't know if you saw his social media, but I really like the portion where they go in and do some classroom work also.
Oh yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
if you go onto any of his social media, and he did give a lot of he has a ton of social media. He has a LinkedIn page. He has because he's posting on his personal page and his business page. But if
Yeah.
you go to Rise 3x3 on Instagram, you can see some of the classroom stuff that Coach Jay is talking about, and he does some really interesting stuff, and stuff that I've pulled some ideas that I have for my own stuff. So I like how he kind of breaks down film. He breaks down the film for the kids, and or for because he has adult leagues, so he
Yeah.
he breaks them down. He's teaching 3x3, and he does like workshops for team building events at job sites. So
Yeah.
instead of taking your
Or
work
like he
team
said,
out.
well, like he said, and like we've been saying, three part of 3x3 is building community.
Yep.
It ain't, just keep it real, be honest. It's still pretty much a niche sport at this point.
Yep.
And those niche sports, pickleball, one of them, which is growing, another sport that's growing like wildfire. You start in those little niche sports, you start to form a community and
Yep.
start to see the same recognizable faces. And then
Hmm.
people like to gather for a purpose. So um, you know, it's not just a developmental tool like I like to push, like we like to push. It's great for community building also.
Oh yeah, for sure. And what did he say? And he said he has the same philosophy that we both have, and that is just bringing more people into the game,
Yeah.
and that's what he loves most about his program. So like you don't have to just be a player. He's also giving that referee opportunity to get more reps in, like you said that you do in your league.
Yep.
He's
Called my
given
guy yesterday to let him know the league is coming up, so get your whistle ready.
yeah. I mean, these are look, guys. I basketball has meant so much to me, so much to my life, and to bring anyone into that is awesome. Like any to be involved in any type of way where you don't have to be a player. There's stuff that happens. There's stuff that happens that either a coach discourages a player, lets him fall out of love with basketball, or just have a bad experience. But basketball is such a beautiful game. If you fall in love with it, you should stay in love with it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
And the good thing
and
about basketball is anybody can play basketball. Like
mm,
anybody can't get out there and put on helmet and shoulder pads.
so
Even less people can get out there and hit a baseball. But
you know, you
but
want to know what my favorite sport
basketball,
was?
anybody can get out there and play, no matter what your shape, size, physical condition, etc.
My first sport that I fell in love with was in 1988 ish, 87 ish, was tennis.
Yeah.
I was a big
And
Andre Agassi.
I wish I could see you run around on the tennis court, boy. I
I
wanna
was
see
Well, that's why I started playing basketball because nobody would play with me. I
that.
was a big Andre Agassi and Michael Chang fan. I
Oh,
had the
Michael
Agassi.
Chang. I remember Michael Chang,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah. I had my Michael Chang racket, and I had my Agassi shoes, and had the Agassi shirt, and
Agassi had a Nike contract, remember that?
yeah, yep, he
Yeah, I
did.
remember that. I
I had
remember that.
hot
Yes,
pink
indeed.
shoes. I had.
Oh, yeah, hot pink. It was hot pink? I thought it was black
Yeah.
and white or something.
Nah, he had, like, bold colors, and,
Oh, damn.
because he at every tournament, he would wear, like, the
With his
brightest
girlfriend
colors,
Brooke Shields out there?
except for Wimbledon, of course, but
Yeah.
I was a big tennis fan, and nobody would play with me, so I started playing basketball, and that's how I fell in love with basketball.
Oh, you accidentally fell into
All
basketball.
my
Okay,
all my friends were playing basketball, and I was better at that than in tennis, but anyway, I
got it,
digress.
got it.
So we
That's
did also,
yeah,
uh
okay, I
but
remember.
yeah, if you haven't listened to that interview with Martin Dyan, go back and listen to it. It was a great interview. Like I said, it was our first international interview. We were working 3 different time zones there, but we made it work, and he was a great guest, and you could just tell the man just loves talking basketball. I mean, he can go
Yeah,
on and on and on. Just he's just
yeah.
I love talking to people like that.
Both of our last guests can talk
Yeah.
basketball for hours, I see. So
Oh
now I
yeah,
know
yeah.
when I'm bored, I know who to contact.
Exactly, and then and our last guest that coach talking about, we had Coach Ras Vanderloo on,
Send
and
people to this live.
man, Coach Ras Vanderloo bought the energy, bought the knowledge. That conversation kind of hit, it hit me hard because it was just the passion that he spoke. You could just ooze through the through the screen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
I
um,
wanted to go lace my shoes up and roll the basketball out,
yeah,
man. Go get in the defensive stands, man.
he's somebody I wish that I knew while I was coaching. I wish I knew him early. And he did give his number out for all coaches to invited anybody to come and text him. I've listened to a few of his interviews too. He does that almost every interview he does. He gives his number out.
Okay.
And
So the
the
only way for
conversation,
you guys out there to get Coach Ras Vanderloo's number is you have to go to our Hoops Pod
and you
YouTube
trust
or
me.
podcast page, and you gotta listen to the whole podcast because it's at the
Yep. And he yeah.
end.
You should have left that part of mystery so we can make them now they're just gonna go to the end and
That's fine.
come on, coach.
Hey, just help us get the watch time, all right? If it's like that.
But here's a guy that he's been coaching high school for decades. He has over I shorted him on wins. He has like over 300 wins, or I said 200 on the show. He quickly corrected me, and he has 300 wins. He has multiple state tournament appearances, Coach of the Year awards, and now he's working with USA Basketball and youth development camps. And so yeah, he's someone that he starts talking about the value of 3x3. I think coaches should probably pay attention because he sees it firsthand.
Yeah.
And one of the things that really stood out to me from that conversation is how we talked about decision making, right?
Yeah.
And 3x3 basketball, you and I say it all the time. There's nowhere to hide. You can't just stand there in the corner. Everybody has to handle the ball, make decisions, defend, space the floor, play with pace. And what Coach Raz was saying, it was that those experiences force players to think the game at a higher level,
Yeah.
right? And he sees that, coaching USA basketball, we talked about, how he was introduced to 3x3 basketball specifically, and how that format is growing, across, the United States, not just internationally, but it's starting to grow here in the United States. And so, yeah, like I said, that interview was I can't say enough how
That was
much I
fire,
enjoyed that
man.
interview.
That was fire, and especially, just knowing that, the coaching greats like Tom Izzo and
Mhm,
Iowa State and Villanova
mhm,
and those teams like that.
yep. Creighton, yep,
When he walked into the gym on them, they were all playing threes.
yep,
It's not, just, like he said, it's not fake basketball.
yeah,
It's real basketball. Real learning can be had playing 3-on-3. And yeah, man, another thing that stood out to me, and this is for the players and some of the coaches too that kind of still are skeptical on it. The career path,
oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
that he touched on, like why go to the G League and play in the G League and get, I don't know what their salary is,
Yeah,
80.
I didn't realize how much money was in 3x3, I
Yeah,
didn't he talked about that a little bit. I
yeah.
didn't
On
realize how
top
much
of that,
money
you
was to be
traveled
made.
to, what he said, 20
Mhm.
countries.
Yeah, yeah,
You're 20, 21, 22, 23, so you don't have a family or anything back home to worry about. So,
yeah,
live your young lives while you still have some basketball in your legs.
mhm,
If the opportunity presents itself, why not choose 3v3 as a viable option,
yeah,
or
and I
three
I
X?
thought I thought I thought he gave a very good breakdown of 3x3, the rules and what the differences are, and he talked about just talked about that format specifically, and he really kind of broke it down, and we talked about the Olympics coming up as well,
Yep,
and we're preparing, the US, the U.S. women's team did well in the Olympics, with 3x3, and the men not so much. But Jimmy Fredette was our main guy, and he got injured in the first round. So, we're looking basically we're looking for more programs in the U.S. to bring popularity to 3x3 so that we can, because obviously they can't bring NBA players in. We all have our thoughts about that.
right.
But it's not, it's there's nothing that we can do that NBA.
Collusion, I tell you.
Yeah, I mean, they know. But they made it to where you have to have a certain number of points, playing a certain number of tournaments to be able to qualify to play, on the world tour and in the Olympics. And that's obviously not going to happen because of NBA season.
Yeah,
The women, on the other hand, since the WNBA season does fall into a place of the year where there's not 3x3 tournaments, the women can play during these World Cup events and get the points and qualify for the Olympics. So that's why we have WNBA players in the Olympic team. So, but yeah, we talked about all that stuff, and man, he talked to coaches specifically. He gave great advice at the end. Coach, he gave I thought some of the best coaching, like if you have just started coaching, you have to, and I don't need to do this often, but you want to listen to this interview
yeah.
because he gave some great advice. I wish I was thinking about going back, and started coaching again. So what I'm saying, and just but he gave some great advice to young coaches. I thought he made some points that even I haven't heard before. I love the fact that he talked about if he could tell a coach a secret, like a secret in coaching. We probably already knew this, but I never heard anyone say it out loud. And that's one of the secrets that he has is um, teach players to always force a player left. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like we always do that. We do that, but I've never heard a coach tell you to do that. So um, but he gave the reason why, and I thought it was just this way he explained it was great. So yeah, go back and listen to that interview.
definitely. Definitely go back and listen to it. All podcasts, every podcast channel you can get it off of.
You-
Every one.
Oh, we've had so Coach Ras wasn't our first USA basketball coach that we had on. We've had Coach Nick Galbo. He coaches at he was the women's 3x3 coach for USA basketball. We've had Don Showalter, who is legendary basketball
Legendary.
coach. So yeah, go back and listen to those interviews. Those are also great interviews. I
Yeah,
love.
those are in the archive also.
Yep. So
Those are in the
we're
archive
we're
also. So, we're
yeah
not the
we're
only ones. For everybody out there who watches and say, "Who are these two goons standing on the top of the hill preaching about 3-on-3 basketball?" Trust me, it's not only us. It's very reputable coaches with long careers and winning records. So if those guys are saying it, then it has to be something to it.
Um, so after we had those two conversations, I think it was yesterday.
Yo,
I came across this article on Facebook, and I sent it to you, Coach, and you said you've seen it too. And then we talked about it for a little while, and it was about USA Basketball launching the
the three
three
X.
X three X Play initiative, and basically what they're doing is creating a national framework to help youth programs, coaches, leagues, gyms, and just to get them to start implementing 3x3 basketball into their programs. And
Yep,
that's basically what we've been trying to do the last
that's what we've been doing.
ever
That's what we've been
yep.
doing.
And
That's what we're doing. So
the,
yeah,
yeah,
no, go ahead.
no, their focus is to basically to, again, like I said earlier, like we're trying to make 3x3 more popular in the states,
Mhm.
and to build more interest in that. And whether you're wanting to play 3x3 and go, like Coach Ras talked about, that financial route, and make that a goal of yours, to play in the Olympics, to travel the world, that is absolutely an avenue you can take. Play
Indeed.
3x3 as its own sport, or you can play 3x3 to, similar to what you do, Coach Jay, is use 3x3 or 3-on-3, whatever version you're using, to develop better basketball players. Like you said, that
Yep.
this is the entry point to your program, right? You start
Yeah.
people off with 3-on-3.
Yep. Yep. I want yeah, we got the club arm of it now, and
Hmm.
one of the pillars of being on the club team is playing the 3-on-3 season, our through our 4-week league. So I don't like to just throw players out there. Like obviously we practice and do things like that, but I would like to see, or I like to see players get a certain amount of game type reps before we enter these tournaments against these other club teams, because there's some good ones out there. There's some good ones out there. So whatever we may lack athletically, we're gonna beat them with this on the skill side and the IQ side.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And reading that article, I talked to you that I wanted to kind of make my program, I guess, be more clear with my messaging, and I really want to be like 2 feet in on this initiative,
Yep.
and I want my program to be a program that teaches and I guess make people aware, or players aware, of 3x3. Like my program is going to be dedicated to teaching 3x3, that specific game, because I want to push people to this specific format. Like I want to raise up
I'm
an
definitely
Olympian.
adopting that shot clock. Once I figure out how to implement it
Oh, yeah, the
exactly,
12-second shot clock. Yeah.
I'm definitely doing that.
Yeah,
That's a
so
definite.
we're already using this, basketball in all my leagues. So that's the
I'm
main
not sure
thing.
if
It's
I'm
the main draw.
gonna change yet, but that shot clock,
Yeah,
yeah,
no.
for sure.
You just
I
gotta
wanna,
try it. You got
I wanna get, I wanna see how these kids work under pressure. And
yeah.
then, and you probably have this come up in your league sometimes, especially when it gets closer to like the championship round and the winning rounds, kids are just kind of dribble the clock out. And I'm like, no, 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 no. So, well, one thing that we do though in our leagues, we have the 5 second,
Mhm.
the 1, 2, but
Yeah, yeah,
you don't have to be on them. Like
yeah,
if you look like you're just standing back, like stalling, the referee can start a 5 count. One,
yeah,
two.
yeah. You know
So
what's
we do
funny?
have that. Yeah.
Want to hear something funny? So today we had our 3x3. I have a 3x3 training session that I do every Thursday, and so
Mhm.
I had a few fifth graders in there, and we were trying to, with small group, and so we're doing this drill, where I have them line up. I have three cones, like one at each elbow and one at the top of the key. We start at the
Yep.
right elbow, and so I have them come around to the top of the key, call for ball, square up to the basket, make a move, jab step, whatever, make a move. And I tell them, you have three dribbles and you have to use all three dribbles, right? You
Yep.
have to take three dribbles and tack the basket. And they can be creative. They can be, dribble to the right and cross over to the left between the legs, or step back, whatever, but three dribbles. We did that with no defense. And they had so much. and they're used to just using 2 dribbles to get to the basket because they're 5th graders. They're not really being too creative.
Yeah,
They had
right.
they they had such a hard time trying to get that third dribble in, so they were either traveling or double dribbling or whatever. So we kept doing the drill. So we did that for like way longer than I wanted to because they couldn't do. I had to force them to do 3 dribbles.
Yeah.
So anyway, we did that with same drill with defense, and guess how many dribbles they took?
3?
18. So so they and I was like, y'all, you guys get I love the fact that they get to the basket with 2 dribbles because that's the point. Like, you don't
Yeah.
have to use all these dribbles, and I had the same rules. I just put a defender on them, had them defend each other. And they had to do all these moves going nowhere. And I'm like, how many dribbles are you taking? Like, I still want 3 dribbles. So they
I
had,
still want 3 dribbles. Yeah, the rules didn't change.
you know what I'm saying?
The
So
rules didn't change
I don't know, I just
because the landscape changed. You still only get 2 dribbles,
yeah.
3 dribbles.
Yeah. First, I couldn't get you to dribble enough, and now you're
Right.
dribbling way too much. So it's
Now,
just
I don't
funny
care
how
if
that
it's
works.
1 on 5 out there. I want you to do 3 dribbles and get a
Yeah,
basket.
yeah. Dribbling is the hardest thing I feel like to control. Dribbling and now 3-point shooting is the hardest thing to control for 5th graders, because everybody wants to shoot threes. Everyone wants to dribble the air out the basketball.
And
So
not only is dribbling the problem, it's when they catch it and dribble it right away. Like, dang, you didn't even take a look at the
yeah.
floor. Like a dribbling might not even
Well,
been the right move at that point.
That comes from I kinda know where that comes from, but I mean I teach that in high school. So with my high school players, we teach them to go, to be on the move as soon as you touch the ball.
Yeah.
But, 5th graders, I say all the way up to 8th grade, maybe even ninth grade. No, ninth grade, I don't know. These kids are crazy good now.
Yeah.
5th grade to 8th grade, I think they should be squaring up to the basket.
Right away.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're
First.
right. They
And then if the shot is not there, look for a dribble or a pass. But yeah, that's one thing. I don't want to get too far off into the what was Coach Day.
yeah, because I'm trying not
But
to go down the rabbit hole because
you
I
know,
can say a whole bunch of things I don't like about middle school
like that'll turn
basketball right
into a
now.
whole different show, man.
Yeah, let's talk. Keep talking 360. So I guess when we look step back and take a look at all this, you got like a guy in the UK building an entire organization around 3x3, and you've gotten experienced coaches that we've had on, Coach Ras in the United States talking about the development value of 3x3. And now you've got the USA basketball launching its a national initiative around 3x3. And so it tells me that 3x3 basketball
It's
isn't
starting to
just like
pick up.
a yeah, so it's a movement, what I'm saying? So
It's starting to pick
um they
up
they wrap me up in it. So it's becoming a real part of the basketball ecosystem, I guess you could
for
say.
sure. Yeah,
So
agreed.
so what's your reaction to all this? Because I've been, the 3x3 basketball, I've been talking about 3x3 basketball for a while. But when you start seeing coaches like Ras Vanderloo talking about it, people like Martin building organizations around it, and the USA basketball initiative, it kind of feels like that momentum starting to build up. So I'm just curious about what your thoughts are as you look
Oh,
at
I
it.
mean, just
All
that.
together.
I mean, the momentum is starting to build up. Uh, you know, there's starting to be small buy-ins. Here, I don't know
Mhm.
about where you are, but here and there, I see 3-on-3 tournaments pop up
You
more
know,
frequent.
You know why I think that's because the Olympics coming up
Yeah,
in
yeah.
2028 is 2028. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so,
So
I see a lot of that, so they're small, they're starting to be small, well, there's been small buy-ins, but, the buy-in is starting to be a little bit larger scale now, with,
mhm,
a huge organization like, USA Basketball,
mhm.
launching this initiative. So, by the time 2028 comes, and don't mess around and let the US medal or perform really well in 3x3. I feel like from
But
that point, it'll grow exponentially from that
this
point. I hate to
US
keep using this example, but look at pickleball, man. Like that just
Oh,
came out of
yeah.
nowhere. And then you blink your eyes, like everybody's investing into it. So
Yep.
I feel like 3x3 is gonna be on that same
I think so too.
trajectory.
Yeah.
There just has to be a significant amount of buy-in, from
Mhm.
these big companies and
Mhm.
these companies that have the resources, to put it out there. In
Yep.
addition to, guys like us that have, local programs, there's always going to be a need and a use for grassroots initiatives.
Mhm.
So, that's where we come in and that's where we play our part. So
Yep.
we jumped in on the 3-on-3 basketball train at a real good time.
Oh, yeah.
You know, by the
Absolutely.
time by the time it does light up and start to experience that growth, our programs will be in for about 10 years at that
I
time.
think
We'll be the we'll be the godfathers of 3x3 in Tampa
we
and
already are. Coach,
Arizona.
I think what we need to do is develop well, maybe I shouldn't say this on live, but because somebody might steal our idea.
Yeah, don't do that because we have
I'll tell you off air.
there's still ideas out there that want to steal 3-on-3 league
No,
ideas. They
no,
want to
no, no.
steal your
Oh,
logo ideas. It's going to be people out there that does that. So
by the
anything that you think is confidential, we need to stop the recording and do it.
were we talking to somebody specifically or no,
I mean,
I was gonna say I'm gonna go
anything
say
I hit dog hollers, man.
I was gonna I was gonna say I know we're not gonna do it, so but I was gonna say we should be involved in creating like a 3-on-3 video game. So
We
get
can do
these
that. Hey, do you know what Claude and all that stuff is capable of nowadays? Hey,
um
it doesn't
so
pay. But if you guys decide that you want to sponsor our show, you can call me.
yeah, and we could be the voices on there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We could do commentary, you know what I'm saying?
We
We could do
can be the
commentary. We could
voices
have
on there.
yeah, we could be
Hey,
the podcast what they have on,
we can be
every season or
we
whatever.
can be the play-by-play announcers. You'll
Yeah,
be
yeah,
the
yeah. Well,
play-by-play guy, and I'll be the color.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You definitely be the color.
I'm the color.
But I think the interesting question as we close this out for you coaches right now is where does 3x3 fit into your player development? I know you said that, Coach Jay, I know you said you're gonna start using that 12-second shot clock. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You don't have to use all of the aspects of 3x3, but there are certain things like for me personally, another reason why I fell in love with 3x3 is the fact that the ball is always in play. So even after a
yeah,
made basket, as it goes through the hoop, you don't have time to pound your chest and celebrate. You got to get right back on defense. That
yeah,
ball, there's no check ball up top. So I actually like that. I know, as you're developing, it's kind of tricky, especially with younger kids. Like you want them to be set up, but I just like to play fast. So,
yeah,
um, um, but yeah, where does 3x3 fit into your development? Is there something that should be used in practice? Is there something that kids should be playing more in on offense? And it's just a great teaching tool.
yeah,
Any type of small sided game, 3-on-3, 3x3, whatever
yeah,
you play. It's just a great, even 2-on-2 is a great
yeah,
teaching tool for kids. You know what I'm saying? So, it's something that it is something that could be a bigger part of how players learn how to play the game. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Um, so I think that's really the bigger takeaway from the last couple of conversations that we had. 3x3 isn't just about playing, half court with three players, 3-on-3. It's about the environment that it creates and the environment where players have to think, communicate, and make decisions, and solve problems together. And the more you talk to coaches around the world, the more you start hearing the same thing. So, you listen
yeah.
to all the interviews that we've had, they're all saying the
Everybody
same
can't be
thing.
lying.
so, and Coach Jay and
Talking
I,
everybody.
Coach Jay and I have been saying this for what is our 45th episode, somewhere around there. We're well into our 40s now,
In there, man.
on a number of episodes, and we basically say the same thing over and over again. We have coaches on that repeat what we say, but sometimes they need to hear a different voice saying it. If you hear from your parents, hear something from your parents all the time over and over again, or from your coach, as soon as somebody new steps in and says the same thing, they say, "Oh, I get it now." So,
Yeah,
like Coach Jay said, we're not lying.
right.
Um, but anyway, so I do think that 3x3 isn't just a format; it's just a different way of learning the game. Is the best way to say, I think. So yeah, if you haven't already, make sure you go back and check out those conversations with Martin Dyan and Coach Ras Vanderloo, or any of our interviews that we've had. They're all great. So
Yep.
except for except for maybe our first one, which was when we interviewed each other. That was our first episode. Don't watch that one.
That was the best one.
No, just, but we've gotten better, but we'll see. We still got a long way to go. So yeah, any coach, I think that's it. Anything else? Any updates? Any closing words, or
I mean, that's
what
all
you
I
got?
got, man. Other
Give a
than
shout
that,
out to
we
our TikTok crowd.
TikTok. Everybody, it was a lot of people came and went. Next time you guys need to ask some questions, we're gonna open this up for questions and answers. I'm gonna
Yeah, yeah,
figure out how to sync it to both of us.
we'll do it.
But
Yeah,
to
I'll do
answer
that next time.
to answer your question to finish it off on the 3-on-3 stuff. Um, yeah, man. Every coach out there, it's usable. I mean, I know a lot of people scoff at it, but at the very least, when you guys are doing practices, before you do your scrimmages at the end, I would suggest do about 10 minutes. And that's really all you need. 10, 12 minutes of running threes. Let the guys play open, play free a little bit, and then add those extra players on there and see what they can do after that. So
Hmm.
that's my preferred method. So included in everything that you do. It's a very important pillar uh to building your players in your program. But my second thing is 3on3hoopsnation.com. Go and subscribe. We are at 405
The
members.
400 Club. Coach Jay, you
400
did
club.
text me that. We're part of the 400 Club. I
We're
love
the
that.
400 club on our way to
Yeah.
500. So go to 3on3hoopsnation.com. There's plenty of resources on there. It's going to be more to come. So, go on over there, get your little cute cell phones and
I'm gonna start. Yeah,
type
I'm
it
gonna
in.
start. Also, give out our. I'm gonna start putting our email address so people can ask us questions. We're
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
3on3hoopspod at Gmail. Easy to remember. Three on three
I
hoops
thought I
pod.
thought you can do it you can send it to the it's a place on the website, right? Oh, well, you
Well,
disbanded. So,
yeah,
well,
yeah,
maybe I
we
can,
moved we moved it.
yeah, I can see
But
if
for
there's
now,
here.
for now, three on three hoops pod at Gmail. If you have any questions or any comments or anything you want to send us in the meantime while we work through the updated version of 300 Hoops Nation. But thank you to all the subscribers, all 400 of you guys.
Yep.
Really excited to have that and just building a community of coaches who believe in the power of 3-on-3. So yeah, coach. I think that's gonna do it for today's episode.
That's it.
Uh,
That's all.
yeah. So yeah, go back and listen to those interviews. Both of them great interviews. All our interviews, great interviews. And that's it. I see you when you see you. Peace.